This is, I think, a very important summary, and I'll give you my thoughts and theses on all of this. So let's get right into it, okay? Here we go. All right, the earnings call gave us some color that I don't think was as great as the color that I wanted to hear, especially off of the backs of, honestly, what was a really good overall earnings report. I know people are bagging on adjusted EPS and the revenue numbers. I get that, but I actually really liked the press release and what they did way better than the earnings call. I'm going to tell you why I didn't like this earnings call, and I'm just going to be transparent here, and I want to be clear. I was pretty bullish coming out of that earnings. Like the earnings report, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And Elon Musk is being fair. He's like, look, if you don't believe in AI, don't buy the stock. And I'm like, no, I believe, I must own the stock. But then I heard a few things that I didn't really like. And I'm going to have to put some thought into these three things because these are problematic. Number one, we just heard that the 4680, probably honestly much like Dojo, isn't actually that revolutionary product that maybe we thought it was. Bloomberg Intelligence just put together quite a bit of information about how the 4680 is much less efficient in terms of battery density and its cost effectiveness than Tesla thought or advertised it would be on their initial battery day when they released that. And now I'm hearing Elon Musk and the team basically say, well, batteries are kind of like memory cards. They get really expensive and they get really cheap, and now nobody else is really ordering batteries, so we could just order batteries pretty cheaply from China, and we could just use the lithium ion phosphate batteries. Why do we really need to make our own? We're really only doing the 4680s, A, for the Cybertruck, which is, low volume production, and B, as a hedge. Okay, well, that's the same thing we heard them say about Dojo. They were building out Dojo because they needed to, not because they wanted to. And remember that pessimism we had from Elon about Dojo? I think we just got that same Dojo pessimism about the 4680s. And I don't like that. It's kind of like every time we have a different idea, like, here's Dojo. NVIDIA's just better. Here's 4680. It's just a hedge. I don't know. That didn't really jive well with me. I didn't like that. One. And number two, stock comp is actually an issue. Elon Musk just bluntly told us, hey, look, even if I get abducted by aliens and I disappear, in other words, I don't work at Tesla anymore, we'll still solve autonomy. Now, when it comes to Optimus, when it may be becoming a Terminator, and if I'm not here and I don't have the control, I don't know. Keep in mind that earlier in the call, he says, hey, I think Optimus is going to be more valuable than the entire business put together of everything else we have. And he kind of just implied if he's not around, he ain't going to be going all in on Optimus at Tesla. Maybe it's, Optimus, I don't know, company or whatever somewhere else, or they just create a new robot company somewhere else. I don't know. That is a little bit what he just alluded to. I didn't love that. And I'm not saying don't pay the man what he was promised. I'm not here to talk about that. We've talked about that in other videos before. Watch those. I'm just saying that is a red flag. That's something that we're going to have to contend with as investors. And then we're starting to finally understand maybe a little bit more where Reuters is coming from. Some of the ultra bulls are saying, see, Reuters is lying again. Tesla is deciding to come out with more affordable vehicles. Well, obviously, as expected, we didn't get any kind of product roadmap announcement here. Are we getting a two-door? Are we getting a compact? Are we getting a van? What are we getting? We didn't really get any of that here. We didn't expect that here. But when the team was specifically asked, hey, are you just going to do like refreshes, or are you doing totally new models, or are you just gonna lower prices and make your existing fleet more affordable as your costs come down, which obviously costs were coming down well. We covered that all in the other video. Those were great. Margins great. The idea about getting up to 3 million deliveries in this earnings call, Elon actually went above that. The press release said, hey, we want to get close to 3 million vehicles, and Elon's like, we're gonna get to more than 3 million vehicles. Who knows, maybe they're just not on the same page, and Elon's like, we're gonna start doing this maybe even at the end of 2024 or early 2025. But then when pressed on what, we kind of just got this idea of, well, we're going to take some efficiencies of the new design of a manufacturing line. We'll implement those into new and existing vehicles, but we didn't get color on what are they really new vehicles or are they just refreshes? I thought that was a good question from an analyst. I do think there'll be a new-ish vehicle, but we just didn't get clarity on that. So that was another sort of negative. Now, there was another negative as well, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, but I don't want to be too negative here, so I want to just get some positivity going again. So we talked about queued quarter-over-quarter declines and negative free cash flow maybe being because of seasonality and just bad timing. And if you remove the Cybertruck from margin, you actually had margin at 18.5%. That's actually fan-frickin-tastic. The numbers that I'm running are about an 18% margin, and things get bullish if I run up to a 20% margin again. So if we can take out Cybertruck and get to 18.5% margins with tax credits, which Tesla is taking more of since the other manufacturers have dipped, I'm kind of optimistic about that. That was really good. I like that. So that was very good. They're obviously making the cars more affordable by coming out with attractive financing and leasing. They believe they're going to spend about $1 billion a year on artificial intelligence, so their CapEx spend is still going to be up there. We did have some talk about the Optimus being able to do some basic tasks in their lab right now, and maybe they can sell them externally by the end of the year. That was good. That was hope. Maybe some limited production by the end of this year. That's cool. Of course, talking about how valuable Optimus would be in the long term. As far as FSD and robotaxi, did get some clarity that some states already have approved robotaxi sort of networks thanks to Waymo and Cruise, and that makes it easier for Tesla to sort of get into those markets and get started. So they actually think regulatory approval really won't be an issue, especially since they'll be able to prove that robotaxis are safer. I agree with them. They also gave us a little bit of color that Tesla will be able to operate the fleet, so Tesla will take sort of control of the fleet, and you could submit your car to that fleet to only allow 5-star users, only allow friends and family, or determine when you want the car back, so it's kind of like Airbnb-ing your car. And there was even talk about maybe using these cars and eventually Hardware 5 compute technology to train inference, calculations based, well, not train and inference are the opposite basically, right? One leads to the other. But so not train, but to conduct inference operations in a distributed manner to basically help functions like ChatGPT, right? Run using the car's computers when they're not operating. Kind of interesting. I don't know if that's just smoke and mirrors, but Elon suggests this would kind of be like having a distributed AWS from Amazon. And remember, they used to be a book company, and now AWS is like the core of the business, right? At least the core of the profit center, that's for sure. So these were all really cool. Now, we did hear about this idea about maybe licensing to another OEM, and we got some clarity on how long that would take. First of all, we've heard this story before. We've heard that they're in talks about OEM licensing before. This is the other negative. This is the Q2 earnings call from 2023, where they say, look, full self-driving, here it is, and we are already in early discussions with, a major original equipment manufacturer about using Tesla FSD. We're not trying to keep this to ourselves. So they're pretty clear here, like they've said this before. This is the same thing we heard last year, except this time we did hear that even if somebody did sign a licensing agreement now, which they need to be convinced first to use the Tesla FSD, which they sort of implied people aren't yet, but they will be, or hopefully will be, then it would take about 3 years to actually get Tesla software operating in other vehicles, like a Ford or something else. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, something else that I have to say, this was by far one of the best, most structured earnings calls in a while. So they did a good job, and they gave us clarity. I don't think all of that clarity was all positive, so they definitely took a little bit of enthusiasm away from that earnings report, but I still am overall probably net bullish on this earnings report that I got, mostly thanks to what we saw regarding margins and then the projections of deliveries, as well as, of course, a priority on getting the cost of cars down so we could increase deliveries. That's the core thing that I invest in Tesla for. That's a big deal to me. So I am happy about that. Some other things to keep in mind. 2 housekeeping things, and then we'll get into this. If you have not yet, go to househack.com/2024. Be a part of the House Hack Roadshow. It starts today, goes for about 8 days, and then we close investments for accredited investors. Make sure you wire us, don't ACH us, and get your letter from investready.com. You could type in househack.com househack.investready.com to get your letter. And we've got an expiring coupon code on April 30th for the courses on building your wealth and stocks and psychology of money, which includes trade alerts. We also just released a bunch of new lectures, so check those out. And we have the full 37 lecture financial advice library available. If you're interested in me analyzing 37 people's situations and giving them 5 to 10 minutes of this is the next thing you should be focused on. Like, here's your situation. This is what you should do next as actual financial advice. Check that out. It's all the way at the bottom of meetkevin.com. It's called the Wealth Library. You'll see it all the way at the bottom above the disclaimer. Check that out. If you got questions, just email us at staff@meetkevin.com. So, can we make full self-driving transfers permanent? No. What's this timeline for scaling the semi-truck? Probably late 2025. They did start grading a field for the semi-truck, for the semi-truck manufacturing facility, the gigafactory for the semis. I think that's mostly clickbait. I don't really think that affects my valuation at all, but I think they mostly just grade it to make sure it doesn't, fill up with weeds and the lot looks like crap. I don't actually think they're going to build that out yet, mostly because they need to make sure they maintain capital that they have right now to efficiently deploy it on the adjustments to the manufacturing lines and artificial intelligence. As far as free cash flow, again, they say there was sort of a mismatch, so maybe they won't have negative $2.5 billion of free cash flow again. Good. Again, we didn't get clarity on other types of vehicles. Elon Musk says don't own the stock if you don't believe in us solving autonomy. And the latest layoffs were really a pruning exercise for Tesla, and that we just need to get through this hard time. Well, so again, overall, I'm very optimistic on today. I got pretty excited about today. The cyber cab, that's cool. I'm not too sure that I could really start pricing that into models for the near term. A little bummed about the 4680, though I don't know how much of a deal that makes for the stock valuation. Biggest issue might be stock comp. That could be an issue for Elon. And again, it makes sense what we've got going on with that Reuters article. And then, it's not a whole new manufacturing line. It's going to be like an adjusted line. And maybe are there going to be new models, or are they just going to be more affordable versions of cars we already have? We didn't get that clarity. Elon said stay tuned for August 8th for that clarity, which doesn't surprise me. This is Elon's only earnings call between now and the vote on his stock comp, and it is also before that August 8th event. So with that said, thank you so much for watching this summary. Really appreciate all of you. Make sure to go to househack.com/2024 and meetkevin.com to check out those programs. Now let's press the button.
Go yourself. Is that clear?
It's not the one I meant to press. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Keep in mind, I didn't catch this, but apparently Martin has just announced that he is leaving the company. Today was my final earnings call with Tesla. About a month ago, I spoke with Elon to announce that I'm going to be retiring from the world of investor relations and moving on. Wow, Martin V taking off as well. All right. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Advertise these things that you told us here. I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.
Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, licensed real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is not personalized advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show shall not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purposes of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services we may benefit from. I also personally operate an actively managed ETF. I may personally hold or otherwise hold long or short positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuer other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Make sure if you're considering investing in HouseHack to always read the PPM at househack.com.